I remember where I was when I came across you for the first time. Now, why I remember, I have no idea, but I do. And I'm in Birmingham City Centre. I'm on a bus. And then I saw this video on Instagram. It's like 24-year-old has figured out the secret of life or something like that. The title was something like this. And you were just speaking about, oh yeah, manifestation, metaphysics. You're the creator of your own reality, which is all stuff that I agree with.
Yeah,
But the way you said it was very compelling. And I was like, all right, this
thank
guy's
you.
very switched on.
I appreciate that.
Where did all that
Absolutely.
come about? What's going
Um,
on?
yeah, that's a good question. I mean, in terms of like the metaphysical side of things, yeah, I feel like I've always been a bit of a deep thinker anyway. Like from a
Mm.
young age, I've always looked at the education system when, certain lockdowns happened in 2020. There's certain things that happen in the world that I just kind of always thought,
Does make you kind of scratch your chin, right? That's a
yeah,
bit.
exactly. I don't
Uh,
know what it is. I don't know where that's come from. I've just always had that inclination inside of me to like look at things on a deeper level, to ask questions. Sometimes it's actually a hindrance than a benefit. It's very easy to overthink if you're just constantly asking questions. But I think I've kind of alchemized that. I've took that and I've put it into positive things, into things that actually benefit myself in the world. So I think, yeah, I've just definitely gave life some thought rather than just kind of going with the motions and just on autopilot and chasing the ego things that we all have in the world. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Like it's good to chase that, it's good to strive for that, and you may as well win the game if you're going to play it anyway. But I think, yeah, I just kind of see things from a deeper perspective. Because I mean, obviously, like, I don't know how deep you want to get with this. I mean, I've dabbled in psychedelics, things like that. I've had certain out of body experiences. There's certain other things there that come
let's
into my
get
day to
as
day life.
deep as is humanly possible.
Love that, bro. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're here for.
You wouldn't be the
Yeah,
first person to have dabbled in a little substance or two. You
of
know what I
course.
mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, yeah, there was some times I dabbled in a bit of LSD and magic mushrooms and things like that. And obviously, prior to those experiences, I was very much motivated by ego. I cared what people thought about me. I wanted all the nice things. I wanted to achieve all the materialistic things in life. And all the women and the money and the influence and the status. I wanted all those things, and that was like the only priority for me in terms of life's purpose. That was it. There was nothing really beyond that on a deeper level. I was quite spiritual back then anyway, but not to a level where I really understood what I was talking about. It was more so just like, if you put good energy out into the world, you're gonna get good energy back. There was a very baseline type of spirituality, if you will. But yeah, I started to dabble in a bit of LSD and stuff, and yeah, when that hits you and it just completely opens your mind. And people say, it opens your third eye. You got to be careful about opening your third eye. You're taking in information that the naked eye, the human eye, doesn't really see. I remember I read a study or something, and it said scientifically that the human naked eye only sees about 0.003%, something like that, of reality, like real reality. And obviously, psychedelic kind of removed that illusion, they removed that filter. So that's kind of where it kickstarted, anyway, without dragging out your question too long. And I kind of dived into it a little bit more. And what I found is after those psychedelic experiences, I had near death experiences, I had out of body experiences, just different things in day to day normal life, unrelated to psychedelics, but they all aligned. So when I've had, for example, an out of body experience, that aligned with what I felt and what I saw and what I experienced on LSD. So it's like, how can two completely different experiences, when one was obviously under the substance and one was completely normal, sober, just normal day to day life, two completely out of body experiences in terms of the normal human realm, completely align and they're exactly the same. That's when I started to connect the dots and think, maybe it is all just a big game. We're all just playing a big game, and there's something deeper than just us as humans. So, kind of started from there, to be honest.
all right. So my next question was going to be then, so what is it that you have realized? Because here's what I think is going on. You say it's all a big game.
Okay. Yeah.
I've had this idea in my head for a few years that we're basically in an MMORPG,
I like that.
basically,
Yeah.
more or less,
Pretty
right?
much. Yeah.
You like World of Warcraft, create your character. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna get the black avatar. You chose the
Yeah.
white one,
Yeah.
what have you, and you level up your character. You do X, Y, and Z, and you're basically inhabiting a realm which is filled with other people who are all playing the same game.
Yeah.
However, so here's what I think. So I think that basically what's going on is that there isn't really a meaning to life other than kind of what you decide the meaning is for you, which is why you can get someone like Hitler who's like, I must kill all the Jews. And then you can get
Mhm.
someone like Gandhi who's like, I don't know, peace and love to everybody.
Yeah,
It's all kind of about you. And I have a
absolutely.
theory that, I mean, I'm sure you've heard this before, but there's gazillions of different dimensions that are all kind of coexisting in the same space, but we're
Yeah,
all interdimensional.
yeah.
So it's like, so you were in a timeline where presumably you didn't have money and wealth and what have you. And you're like,
Correct. Yeah.
all right, I want money. So basically, what you do is you focus your energy on the timeline that you want and then actually move into that reality.
Hmm. Yeah.
You
Have you heard
agree?
of the term quantum leaping? Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Quantum leaping. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically what you just perfectly explained there is the term quantum leaping. So it's almost like you're taking, like you say, every potential timeline, every potential reality that could exist, does exist simultaneously at the exact same time. There isn't such thing as past, present, or future. That's like a human illusion. In the cosmos, whatever you want to call it, in the realm that's above this one, above the 3D, out of the 3D universe, everything is just simultaneously existing. And you kind of like loop from different experiences, different timelines using your mind, using your imagination. So what you've just absolutely perfectly explained, like I couldn't have said it better myself, is is kind of how life works, but on our slower pace. Obviously, we have the construct of time in the human world we live in. So, but that's basically what happens. Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm broke, I want money. You've thought of the thought, I want money. That's then kind of put that timeline, and it's like it's pricked its ears up. It's like, oh, the money timeline. You know, he's thinking about us. Okay, let's kind of get closer to him a little bit. And what you're doing is you're attracting it by your thoughts, by your emotions, and by the words you speak. All of that's energy. So if you think, oh, I want loads of women, or I want success in this area of my life, or I want to get in good shape, like you are, for example, there would have been a time where you would have thought to yourself, I want to get in good shape. You know, it's like you think that first. It's the same way, as simple as it sounds, as like, okay, I want to get a drink of water. You think the thought before you know it, you're drinking water in the physical world. That's how everything works. I want money. Before you know it, you're going to have money. But it's like people attach themselves to the time, they attach themselves to how long it takes, they attach themselves to how they pull it off, all of this ego stuff. And what I found personally is when you let go of all that shit and you just allow the universe, God, whatever you believe in, to kind of just take you through the show, take you through, like you say, the game of life. There's kind of no point playing the game if you could think of what you want and instantly have it. What kind of game? That's boring as fuck. So it's like you think of what you want, life will take you through the ups and downs of the game. You got to play it, you got to enjoy it, and before you know it, you're going to be where you want. Because it's just how life works. But I agree with you 100%. It's all like a big video game. We all have our own characters we play. We can kind of customize our characters. You can get tattoos. You can dress how you want. You can. It's literally just a video game. That's all it is. You know what I mean? But once you understand that, it kind of takes the burden off of the things we usually struggle and stress about in
Mm.
day-to-day life.
All right. So what then is the process that you followed forward slash currently follow in order to manifest the things that you want? So, for instance, you look like you're not doing too bad financially,
Thank you.
flying here,
Appreciate
there,
that.
and everywhere, things
Yeah.
like this,
You know,
right?
every now and
So,
then.
there we go. So, when Mr. Spurgeon had no money, okay, cool. So, it's
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm broke, or I
Yeah.
don't have the money that I want,
Yeah.
but I want money. So, what process are you following in order to go from stage one to stage two?
That's a good question. First of all, obviously, it's the thought. You have to understand. You have to have like the destination. You kind of your subconscious works like a GPS system. So if you're driving a car and you have no idea where you're going to go, you might end up there. But how do you know where you're going to get to if you don't have the prior destination before you sit in the car and activate the car? It's the same in the human body. This is like the vehicle you use to kind of navigate through the game of Earth, right? And in Earth, you can have pretty much any experience that's physically possible that you want. You can have any of these things. All you have to do is decide that that's what you want. So that is step zero. Before we even get into anything else, you just got to know what you want. And you got to be very clear on that. You got to be vivid on that. I knew exactly what I wanted. And initially, it just started off with I remember I was sat on my council estate in this like small prison cell type sized room. Like it was so small, single bed. It was a mattress on the floor for a long time, but I then put some like wood planks underneath the mattress to kind of stand it up a little bit to have like a little makeshift bed. Anyway, I was in this environment and I thought to myself, I vividly wanted at least 5K in the bank. That's all I wanted. Just 5,000. I thought, you know what, with that, I can buy some clothes here and there. I can pay my bills. I can kind of sort myself out. That's like enough for a little bit of peace of mind for a bit. So that was my destination. That was my GPS that I was putting into, the car. And the car was me and the character that I'm playing as. So step zero, find what you want, have that destination, know exactly where you want to go. Once you've got that destination, this is the crucial point. This is like the middle point, right? So it's step one, the starting point is where do you want to go? The middle point is going from the current vibration, if you want to call it that you're currently at, so the broke version of you, and then almost what we call quantum leaping and taking yourself into a different version of yourself before you actually get there. That's the hardest bit for most people to do. And the reason for that is because of what we call ego. So your ego is like, it's an illusion. It makes us all think that we're separate from each other. So it makes us think that you're separate from me and I'm separate from you and we're all like different. That's the illusion of the ego, but it's what makes the game of life fun. But when you do things such as psychedelics, or you have a near-death experience, or you have an out-of-body experience, you have these like higher realm experiences, you start to realize that if you've ever heard psychedelic trip reports, they'll all kind of say something like, oh, we're all one, and I'm at one with the world, I'm at one with the trees, and we're all just one, bro. And the reason they're saying that is because everything's energy, and there can't be a gap in energy. It's just not how it works. Everything's connected, and it can never have a separation point. Like the point where your finger meets the oxygen around it, you can't feel the gap. It's just everything's just one. But the ego makes you think that you're separate from everything else. So this is the most difficult part for most people when it comes to manifesting what they want is their ego gets involved. And what that usually look like is, oh, I want it this quickly. Or I want it in this time frame. Or I want it by the end of the month. Or I want it in this exact way. So they have these structures and these formulas that they almost tell the universe that's how they want it. I want it this quick and I want it like this and I want it to be done in this exact manner. And if anything kind of diverts away from what they think they want, they start to get into a negative mindset. It's not working. This is shit. It's taking too long. And then you're just going right back to the old vibration again. So it's like, how do you expect to make £10,000 per week, for example, if you're in a mindset of a guy that makes £9 an hour and he's working a 9 to 5 job? Like those two realities just simply cannot, they can't work. You have to, you have to remove the ego. You have to let it go. You have to, and this is difficult. It's easier said than done. But you have to learn when you get these thoughts of like, I want to achieve 10K per week and I want to get it in 1 month. And if I don't achieve it in 1 month, manifestation doesn't work. I'm shit. I'm a failure. Like you have to remove all this shit because that's what stops people. So let go of the ego, let it flow, let the timing flow. Doesn't matter how long it takes because time isn't real. You just got to enjoy the game. You got to enjoy the show. You got to enjoy the process. That's what it's all about. So identify what you want, remove the ego, which just simply means don't worry about how long it's going to take or how exactly you're going to get there. If you have a goal and you reach that goal, and that's the experience that you eventually get, does it matter if you did it through this business or that business, as long as you got the goal that you wanted, and you enjoyed the process while you were getting there. So remove the ego, kind of stop worrying about that. And the third process is to simply, this is actually a very interesting one, but it's just be grateful. Because if you operate, and I know it sounds a bit like cliche, but if you operate from a position of gratitude, if you look around you at all the things you already have, and you think, I'm grateful for this, that is the quickest and most efficient way to put yourself in a vibration of attraction. And that's what life's all about. It's the same with women. You attract women. You don't go running after them. You don't go chasing them. You just bring them to you. There's a quote. I think it's, if you want to attract a butterfly, you don't chase it. You build a beautiful garden and let them come to you. Something like that, right? And that's kind of how life works on all frontiers. Is if you want something, if you want money, you become the guy that people want to give money to. If you want women, you become the guy that women want to be around. You don't go out there and look like run after them. If you run after a cat, it's going to run away from you. It's just human nature. It's psychology. If something's running at you, you think, I don't even know why I'm going to run away, but I just have the urge to run away. But if something just looks beautiful and it's kind of standing there in its own essence, and it's not bothering whether you come to it or not, you kind of want to go check it out. It's curiosity. So that's how life works. And gratitude, that emotional state, looking around you and just being like, I'm grateful for this, grateful for that, grateful for who I am, all the things you have already, rather than thinking about the lack of what you don't have. That puts you in an energy where you can manifest so easy because you're just open. Your energy's open. You love everything. You're grateful for everything. And I think that's a big importance when it comes to manifestation.
All right, so let's clear. So what I heard is number one, know what the hell it is that you want. You have to be very firm. So, like a lot of people would have a nebulous idea in their head that they want to make more money, but they haven't really decided that they do, and they haven't decided how much or even the kind of lifestyle they want to live. Maybe they want
Yeah.
to take 2 or 3 holidays a year or whatever. So, you need a very clear, crystal clear image of whatever the hell that is. But then you've got to move towards that thing as well, which means
Yeah.
taking steps in the 3D universe to make that thing happen. I
Yeah.
also suspect that what you're saying, because people go, yeah, but I don't know what step to take. So if I want to become Jeff Bezos, what's the first thing that I do? Which you would then say, I suspect, that, well, it doesn't really matter what steps you take as long as you are moving in that direction with a clear belief that that's eventually going to happen and that your soul's going to put you on the right path anyway. I believe that that's what you'd say.
You know me too well already. That was perfect. I don't even need to be here, bro. Nailed it.
This is
Yeah.
why we're doing this interview. This is why. You know what I mean? This is why we're talking.
That was brilliant.
Uh,
No, yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. Just to quickly add on to that, a lot of life is about figuring it out. That's the whole point. I think the whole point you're here as a human is to think that you don't know the answers. So when you take things like psychedelics, you realize you kind of just know everything. You have this weird feeling that you just know everything. And you'll ask questions to yourself and instantly get an answer to the question that previously you would have never known in the human world, right? So again, to get a little bit deep with it, it's like you're here as a human playing the human game to see what it's like to figure things out, to not have the answers and then eventually figure it out, right? So if you're in a position, you're watching this right now and you think, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what steps to take. I don't know actually like the practical, actionable steps. That's the whole point. You're not supposed to know. And that's what makes it fun. It's like playing the game for the first time and figuring it out, right? Just do something. Like you perfectly said there, that is actually an answer that I would give is you just look in the general direction. You're not going to know exactly where you're going to shoot the gun yet, but just kind of aim in the general direction and just start popping some shots off. And what you're going to start to realize is, in that weird analogy, is that, okay, I'm starting to figure out where the target is, how the wind's moving. I can kind of correct my aim. That's how your mind works, right? You're not going to have the perfect shot straight away. You're not going to have the perfect step to take straight away. But if you just pick the gun up, and in this case, it's, just do something in the general direction, right? I want to start making some money. What's the first thing you can do today is to start learning how to make money? Watch a YouTube video. You're probably not going to get much information. That YouTube video in and of itself isn't going to make you rich, but it gives you inspiration. It starts a chain of thoughts of like, this guy made money doing this. Maybe I could try this and this and this. And then before you know it, you're starting. So it's like, just do something. People use that as an excuse of like, I don't know what to do. It's like procrastination. Well, I don't have to do anything because I don't know what to do. It's like, you do. You're just being lazy. Like, you can do something, anything to get the ball rolling, to get the momentum building. But yeah, you nailed that. That is something exactly like I would say.
all right, cheers, cheers. Well, thank you, thank you. So, okay, because something we haven't actually spoken about is the specific transformations that you've actually made.
Mm.
So, you spoke about being absolutely broken, destitute. Okay, cool. So where are you now? How long did it take to make that transformation? And you've also spoken about manifestation in general. So can you name some specific things that you've manifested? Have you ever been like, oh, I'm gonna manifest a holiday and the holiday came? And if so, what did you do? Things like that.
Yeah, okay. Perfect. So in terms of your first question, like what was my transformation? Like, where did I come from? So yeah, I came from a council estate, poverty, poor upbringing, didn't really have anything. The classic, the usual rags to riches type of story. And I'm now in a position where, I'm a six-figure entrepreneur, officially on paper. And I get to travel the world. I'm financially free. I'm geographically free. I can go on holiday tomorrow for as long as I wanted. I'm in that position of freedom now where I don't really have to look at the price of things that I'm paying for outside of, extremely expensive items. But normal day-to-day life and luxury living, I don't really have to look at the price of things. So I've gone from that spectrum of looking at money as if it's this pedestalized thing that I have no idea how people even get this. How are people driving these type of cars? How are people living this type of life? How they're going on all these holidays and buying all these clothes? I want that. But I looked at money as if it was superior to me. And I came from that position of poverty and then, gradually started own business and I started a coaching business. I've done a couple of other things in terms of like the adult entertainment industry, webcam modeling, management, that type of thing. So I've tried it all. I've tried loads of different businesses. And some of them started to work. And that's basically like a brief understanding of my story and financially. You know, when I was younger, I was a shy, awkward, I guess, socially anxious kid. And, you know, I've built myself up into an individual now where I like to think of myself as quite confident and charismatic. And, you know, so it's the same thing with, you know, the gym, any type of area. I've kind of looked at it and thought, this is a weakness. This is something that I want to improve on. This is something I'm not quite content with. Let me just start taking a step in the right direction. So I've kind of done that in every single area, from dating to financial to going to the gym, all these type of things. So transformation wise, I can obviously get a little bit more specific if that's what you're looking for. But yeah, that's kind of where I've come from. Rags to riches, the usual type of story. And now I'm in a position of absolute freedom. But when you say manifestation, what have I actually manifested? Well, obviously, my life as a whole, just as a generalized whole, from, you know, a hustling, struggling type of standpoint where I'm fighting against life. That's kind of what it felt like every single day. To now,
Sorry, how long ago was that?
that was approximately, I think, about 2 years ago. That was so. It's
It's
from
only 2 years.
yeah. So 2 years, I've gone from. I literally remember having minus 100
So you
and
you you were destitute 2 years ago.
well, I was
Like
I
everything
was
you said, the frigging the council estate, and you put in the shit on the floor, and that was
yep.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. You can check
Okay,
on my Instagram because I posted
okay.
pictures on my Instagram as well, and the date's still on there. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to keep those up because it's kind of
Mm,
like a testament to
mm.
the struggle, to the story. But yeah, literally 2 years ago, I was in that position in the council estate, and it happened so exponentially that it's hard for me to deny manifestation. It's hard for me to sit and be like, oh, I just got lucky. It's hard to think that when I've almost had that vision in my head of exactly what I wanted, down to like tiny small details. You mentioned the holiday before. The first holiday I ever went on, because I was broke all my life, was well, I think just after the point 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, I was broke. Around that kind of time, I started to make a little bit of money. I manifested this holiday to Thailand. I wanted to go to Thailand specifically because everyone was bigging it up at the time. It looked absolutely beautiful. So I was like, okay, I'm broke. I have no money, but I'm just going to manifest a trip to Thailand. And I'd never been on a plane before, never been on holiday before. And in my head, I just visualized. I had a coaching business that I still run to this day, and I'd sell like video courses here and there, and one-to-one coaching, and I'd have like a paid community. So, but it wasn't really doing that well back then. I didn't understand marketing or sales or anything like I do now. Barely any followers on YouTube or Instagram. So I was in like a lower position of the current business model that I have right now that's doing very well for me. So that was the situation. I looked in my brain and I just thought, right, I imagined the seat that I was sat on, looking out of the window seat of the plane as I'm flying over to Thailand. I imagined the emotions that I would feel. I imagined what it would be like when I got there. I imagined the gratitude that I would feel for pulling it off. And I swear to God, it was actually quite scary. This was my first, literally 2 years ago, around that time, around that kind of like period of time where I went from broke to started to make money quite quickly. It's actually quite scary because, and there's a bit of value I want to add on to this in a second, but I remember thinking to myself, I want to be on the airplane window seat, looking out the window. I visualized my headphones that I had at the time, these busted up headphones, and I thought I'm gonna imagine like every detail, the clothes I'm wearing, the headphones, got my headphones on, listening to the music. I imagine what song I'd be listening to. I swear on my fucking life, bro, I was sat in the plane in the exact seat, looking out the window with the headphones, exactly the way I manifested it. And it was a moment on the plane where it hit me. It was almost like this goosebump moment where I was like, fuck. I'm like deja vu type shit. Like I thought about this prior to actually being here. That I was thinking about this, I was manifesting this, and this is actually happening right now in this present moment. That was the first time properly where I was like, oh wow, manifestation is like this has got to be some real shit. Because before that, I was kind of a bit skeptical. I was like, I've heard about it, I believe in it, I believe in myself, but there was still that doubt in my head. After that point, I don't know. I never looked back. That's where it got a little like deep for me. I was like, wow, you can actually just create your own reality like a video game. So that was the first moment in terms of a manifestation story. That's where it started. The most recent one I can think of, like a big thing that actually means something, is because I use manifestation in little ways as well. You know, like for example, if you're running late to a train and you want to manifest that you get there on time, or the train's delayed by a little bit so you can make it, like little shit like that, I'll use it and it works for me. But I'm gonna exclude that because I want to make it a little bit more inspiring for the viewers that, oh, I was running late to a train and I got there in time. You know what I mean? The most recent one about 2 months ago, I had a boxing fight coming up. I've never had a boxing fight in my life. I had fighting experience on the street, but it was nothing technical. I was never a boxer. I didn't understand the technicalities of boxing. So it was a whole new world for me. And I went from training boxing for fun and just learning how to defend myself, about 2 months, 3 months of experience. My coach called me, was like, we've got a fight card coming up. Do you want to fight on it? The guy I was fighting had a previous fight before. He'd won his fight. So he's already had that combat experience, had that atmosphere of all the people and the lights and shit. But I thought, you know what? I believe in myself. I'll train hard. I'll be fine. And I said, yeah. So took the fight, trained hard in the physical, was doing all the work mentally. I kept my mind focused on the visualization that I had. And it was just simply the referee. I don't like to overcomplicate my manifestations. I don't like to overcomplicate, my visualizations, the things, the goals that I have. I just think of very clearly, what do I want? I want to win the boxing fight. Okay, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What can you smell? What can you hear around you? What does that exact event, that illusion that you're trying to create? Because everything's an illusion, but it's like you can create your own illusion. So I just think to myself simply, what do you want? I want to win. Cool. So what does that win look like for you? What's the end point where you know for a fact I've won? There can't be any like fuck arounds. Like this is it, I've won. And that to me was when the referee put my hand up and he announced that I won. So I just visualized that the whole training camp, 4 months straight, boom, that was the only thing in my brain. And to add on to the point of, obviously, I won the fight. Just to cut a long story short, I won the fight. The exact same thing happened again. The ref put my hand up. And it was like, wow, this shit really does work. But what I realized was you have to, when people talk about believing in themselves and self belief and manifestation, people get it wrong. They're on the fence about it. They're like, I believe that I can make money. And then they'll wake up the next day and go, I'm a bit scarce on money today, or I shouldn't probably spend my money on that coffee that I want because I might be broke by the end of the month. Like, they'll have these doubts that come into their brain of like, oh, I don't know if I can pull it off. What if I lose? What if I don't make it? What if I can't pay the bills? All the what ifs get into your brain. And as soon as those negatives get into your brain, the what ifs get into your brain, that's it. The manifestation, the belief, you got to start again. You got to rebuild the momentum. It's like you're just killing off that momentum. So with this boxing fight in particular, I remember people would ask me, they were like mentally, and obviously your social media is doing well now. What are you going to do if you lose? Like, how are you going to deal with that? How are you going to, like, what are you going to say to your fans? How are you going to overcome that? How are you going to mentally overcome that? Do you think you can deal with that? And I thought, you know what? No tough guy shit. I'm not trying to sound like inspirational or cool or anything. I said to them the same thing. I said, I genuinely don't consider the timeline where I lose. Like Luke Spurgeon, the character I'm playing as, his movie, his video game, whatever it is, he doesn't lose. Like that's not part of the script. It's not part of the timeline. I can't lose. It's just not real. So, and that, I genuinely believe that. I was saying that with conviction. I wasn't trying to convince myself. I genuinely believed. I don't know. I just felt it in my bones. Like that timeline can't exist. I just can't lose. It can't happen. And obviously, I won. And I think that's the type of belief you need when you're manifesting something. I promise you, watching this right now, you can have anything you want, but you need to believe it. And when I say belief, I mean in your brain, you don't ever entertain or consider or let any other realm of consciousness come into your flow of thoughts other than the one that you want. Like you have to be so unapologetic. That is it. Almost delude yourself. Like you forget about the risks. You forget about the like starting the business is risky because of this. You just forget about all of it. I've won. Why am I scared about the risks if I've won? And if you understand that time isn't real, like you perfectly said before, it all exists simultaneously. Why are you scared about the what ifs? Because nothing's real unless you make it real. So if you just decide you've won and that's the only reality that you're going to entertain and feed into, that will become your reality. There is no way anything else could exist because you're not giving it energy. So it's like it doesn't come to you. It's as simple as that. But it's hard to do that, really difficult because ego gets involved and you're scared of losing because what is that girl going to think if she sees me get knocked out? And there's all the little shit that gets involved. You've got to learn to meditate, quiet the noise, just let it go. But yeah, I think that's just a little brief kind of transformation story, I guess,
Oh,
from me.
that was excellent. That was amazing. That was wonderful.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Spectacular. Yeah, man, no more questions from me. So I was gonna say, um, what would you say? Like, is there like some message you would like to give to the person who's watching? Because there's someone who's watching and they're like, oh, I'm inspired. Anyone who's still watching now is
Yeah,
most likely inspired, but
absolutely.
they're most likely scared as well. Because, this all sounds amazing, but it's like it's very
Yep.
triggering to the ego and to the expectations, right? And you're saying to
Yeah.
someone, yeah, like completely transform your situation and go from zero to hero. It can be done. It's like, oh, yeah, that sounds amazing. But the fear, right?
Mm.
That fear permeating the heart chakra. That's what I feel
Yeah.
my fear anyway.
Yeah.
So what do you say to that person right there who is um, inspired but shitting himself?
I would say just genuinely ask. I know this sounds stupid, but just genuinely ask yourself, what am I scared of? And then when you get an answer to that question, well, I'm scared of failing, or I'm scared of being embarrassed, I'm scared of being judged, I'm scared of whatever it is you're scared of, right? Ask yourself why again. And what I advise you to do if you're watching this and you're inspired, but you're scared at the same time, which is completely normal. It's a sense that you're killing off your old ego and you're rebuilding it into a new one that's capable of living the reality that you're trying to attract. That's what fear is. It's like your ego screaming, no, 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 we're familiar with this. I'm comfortable with this. I don't wanna evolve. I don't want to do that because that means you have to kill me. I don't want to die. The ego's goal is self-preservation. It's survival. But you have to learn to look at that fear instead of looking at it in a negative perception of this is a bad thing, it means I shouldn't do whatever it is that's causing me the fear. You should look at it as like it's your body getting yourself ready. It's your mind, it's your vibration getting yourself ready to just leap, quantum leap to that next level of ego. You like again, how are you gonna make 10,000 pounds per week, which is possible? I've done it. I've done it in a day. Not to flex. I'm not saying any of this to be like, look how cool I am. I'm saying I came from nothing where I thought, making 100 quid in a day was good, to now making 10,000 Great British pounds in a single day is just ridiculous. And I'm saying this to inspire you, but how are you going to get to that level where that's actually real, that's normal? You check your bank and you see that that's came in 24 hours when you're still operating from the ego of £9 an hour, familiarity, comfort, I'm used to it. You have to feel fear. That's a sign that you're on the right path. It's your body getting yourself ready. It's like if I didn't feel fear walking into the boxing ring, I'd be foolish, I'd be stupid. You're supposed to feel fear. It heightens your senses. It gets you ready. So what I would say is just analyze it though, like really, really break it down because fear is actually quite an easy emotion to tame when you understand it. You only really get fearful of what you don't know, what you don't understand, what's unpredictable. That's what fear comes from. But if you can understand it by understanding you're always in control, and even when life looks and seems out of your control, you're still in control because you control how you respond to it. And that's the only thing that ever really matters, no matter how bleak your situation is. If you control your emotional state internally, nothing external can affect you. So what I would say is analyze, why am I scared? Scared of failure. Why are you scared of failure? Because it won't feel nice, because that person might laugh at me, because I've built this reputation in my town and then that girl's going to see who I really am. And okay, but why are you scared of that? Well, and you're going to start to realize the more you ask the question, why, you're going to get to a point of like, you know what, it's actually pointless. I'm just scared of a feeling. That's it. I'm not going to live the true physical reality that I actually want because I'm scared of an emotion that might happen. It's not even guaranteed. And I guarantee you right now, you probably won't feel it. You probably won't. All the things you're scared of are probably not going to happen. Like 9 times out of 10, they don't happen. It's just your ego trying to convince you to stay where you are because it's comfortable. So I hope you take at least something from that, at least one little thing to take with you when you're next feeling fear. Just either analyze it, go down that rabbit hole of asking why you're actually scared, understand it, realize, like everything else in life, you either adjust to it or you die. There is no other explanation. There is no other like reality. You either get used to something or you just die. That's it. So it's pretty simple. It's a pretty easy way to handle it. But yeah, that's what I would say.
Something that works for me is to just remember that I've basically got two choices, which is number one, face the fear to get the thing that I want, or number two, accept that I'm not going to have the thing that I want. So it's like, do you want the thing or not? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
me personally, I really dislike fear. And when I say I dislike fear, what I mean is this. Here's what I mean. If there's something I want to do, but I'm scared of doing it, that eats at me.
Yeah.
That I don't like that
I
at
know what
all
you mean.
because
Yeah.
it's like I'm inferior to the thing.
Yeah.
It's like the
Yeah.
thing's
Yeah.
laughing at me, right?
Yeah.
It's like I don't have what it takes. I hate that feeling. I
Yeah.
absolutely do. I need to conquer that. That is actually my ego. That's clearly my ego speaking, but that is a good freaking use of my ego because
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, there's so many people that are very comfortable. Like here's something I remember actually. Slight tangent. I remember I was on a reality TV show years ago. It wasn't a good one as well, but that's not neither here nor there. I'm going out and I'm doing interviews with people for this show. And I
Yeah.
spoke to this woman. I said, hey, could I interview you to get your thoughts and feelings about this topic for this show? She said something very like illuminating to me. She said, And I really respected her honesty, but it was still very illuminating. She said, "Look, I would like to do what you're asking me to do, but it scares me. And I do not, I am way too scared to exit my comfort zone and do this thing that you're asking me to do. So even though I would actually like to do it and it's a cool thing, I'm going to back out and I'm not going to do it because I am very comfortable in my comfort zone and I've got no desire to step outside of it." So it's like, on the one hand, I'm like, I respect that because you
Yeah.
just owned it. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, that is the entire mindset that I just dislike and try to avoid.
I'm the exact same, bro. Like you say, it's like the fear's superior to you. You're looking up at it and it's owning you, it's controlling you.
It's
And I
laughing
don't
at
know,
you. It's
yeah,
laughing at you.
it's like a joker and he's taunting you. And I'm like, bro, I can't let him win. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Even if I lose, I have to at least conquer the fear. That's a win in my eyes, you know? But
Mm.
like you said before, you just got to analyze what you want. It's like you either want the thing that you want, like money or the business you're starting or that girl you want to go and talk to, but you're scared to. You either go over and get what you want and just go through the fear, or you are subconsciously, by not doing the thing that you want to do, you're subconsciously choosing that you value and want the comfort zone more than what you want. That's how you've got to look at it. Is you always are in you're in the, like, the sculptor mode of your reality while also playing as the character. You have to look at it and think, what do I want? And by choosing the comfort zone, you're saying to yourself, I want and I prefer the physical experience, the human experience of being in my comfort zone rather than the thing that I want. So if you're broke and you think, I could start a business, but it's scary, I might fail, this, that, and the other, then you're actually choosing to be poor. You want to be poor, but at least I'm comfortable, rather than have money and then just go for a little bit of an emotional fear every now and then, which you'll probably get over and you might not actually feel. So it's like you're always in decision. You can always choose. You just got to choose which one you want more, which one you value more, and just commit to it. That's it. But yeah, great topic, man. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic, man. Well, I guess that's us done. Cheers.
Absolutely. I
Now,
appreciate you,
I'll
bro.
have a link to your stuff in the description.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for your time.
Likewise, man. I appreciate it.
All right. I mean,